Hi guys, welcome to the 6th Tech Q&A session. This was supposed to be posted on end of April, but I'm just posting it today on 1st May. And we have taken about 18 of your questions that you guys have asked, and I've actually divided them into various categories so that it's easier for you to judge. I'll also have the timestamps, but question number from 1 to 7 will be smartphone related questions. Then next two questions are AI related questions. Then from 10 to 14th question are some very interesting miscellaneous questions, but pretty interesting. And later on, the last four odd questions are based on EVs and cars and stuff like that. So let's get on with the same. So guys, let's start with the same, and first section is regarding smartphone related questions. And the first question that I got is from Shaki and Malik. He's asking, hey Ranjit, my question is that should I buy a Pixel 6a right now as it's available for 30k or should I wait for the Pixel 7a instead? I mean, which one would be more value for money amongst the two? Yes, the Pixel 7a should be coming out very soon. It's supposed to be launching on 10th of May. I don't know if it's going to be launched simultaneously in India. As of now, I haven't got the review unit or etc. But yes, it's going to be launching in India also. But I doubt that the Pixel 7a will be priced similar to the Pixel 6a, what you're seeing right now, around 30. I expect that the Pixel 7a might be somewhere around the 40,000 price point. But the thing is that the Pixel 7a is going to be having the Tensor 2 chip that is found in the Pixel 7a. This one heats up a lot less compared to the Pixel 6a. Pixel 6a is still a pretty good phone. Again, you can watch my review regarding that. But the problem with the Pixel 6a is that as it's having the original Tensor chip, that chip tends to have a lot of heating issues. And also now I've heard that with the 5G, the battery life is not that great. So I would lean towards the 7a. But again, if you're a very, very tight budget, then the Pixel 6a might still make sense. Let's move to the next one. This is by Swami. He's asking, can you please suggest NFC featured mobile phones for using payments and other prospects under rupees 18,000? If I recall, as of now, only some of the Motorola phones are offering NFC in that price range, so you can have a look at this. But for payments, these days you just don't need NFC. That's why we are not finding NFC in a lot of smartphones, especially in the mid-range. Because what I've noticed is that though have some fancy phones that have NFC and all those things, but for most payments in India, that is via UPI. Most of them have a QR code or something. You just can scan with any smartphone and do the payment. That's why we're not finding a lot of smartphones with NFC. That tap and pay is just going extinct, I would say, because of the UPI and the QR code stuff that we have in India. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Devansh. Have been using the OP7, that is OnePlus 7, since 2019. No issues, he says, literally, and that's what I feel. OnePlus provided great value phones at that time. Snapdragon 855 plus UFS 3 plus metal and glass body, etc. at 32,000. Now, OnePlus 11R at 40k. Do you think OnePlus can return to its image and roots, which it was famous for? Definitely, this year's OnePlus smartphones are a lot better compared to the past two generation. I haven't purchased the OnePlus 11R, but this is the OnePlus 11, and I have to say, for the price, this is a pretty good smartphone that is coming with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset. Yes, it is not the best in every aspect, but again, if you look at the price point, the price to performance ratio is actually very, very good on this smartphone. So overall, yes, I think so. Now OnePlus is coming back to its roots, but again, this is again still, I would say, not the pure Oxygen OS. This is basically a flavor of Color OS. If you're okay with that, then it's fine, I would say. And camera is also decent, but don't go with the Hasselblad branding or something. If we compare it with many of the other flagships, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, those have better camera. But overall, still, I would say, I'm talking about the OnePlus 11, not the 11R, because I haven't tested it. This OnePlus 11R gets that price to value, stuff very, very well, at least in India, I would say. Yes, it might not be the best in every aspect, but again, many of the other smartphones, even the Xiaomi, what they have, the 13 Pro, is way more expensive than this one. Xiaomi didn't launch the regular Xiaomi 13 in India. So I feel, yes, OnePlus has got the pricing and the performance right at this time with the OnePlus 11 series. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Praveen. The Pixel 7 series of phones from 2022 are getting poor reviews for their battery life and heating issues, despite having the best cameras for photos. Can you suggest alternative flagship with stock Android? Currently, I'm using the OnePlus 7T and looking for an upgrade. Pixel 7, I'll tell you, don't get me wrong, I have used the Pixel 7. Yes, it will heat up a little bit more compared to the Snapdragon chipsets. It's because of the Tensor processor. What is the Tensor processor? It is nothing but the Exynos, modified Exynos processor. And you know that Exynos processors, the 2100 and the other series, were having some heating issues. So that's why you notice the phone will get definitely warm, I would say, on mobile data with 5G usage. And but no way the phone is bad. If camera is your highest priority, I would still say Pixel 7 at that price point gets a lot of things right. Yes, the phone will get warm, but it's not like you cannot use the phone. I would say in that price range of Pixel 7, if you're looking at it, then I would again suggest this OnePlus 11. It's around that 55,000 price point or something. And because this one is having the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset, this one does not heat up as much, and in fact will get better battery life than the Pixel 7. But in cameras, the Pixel 7 will go and beat this one. That's my frank opinion. But this is the nearest competitor I would say I can recommend for Pixel 7 users if you are in that ballpark. That is the OnePlus 11. Okay, moving to the next one. This is by Raja. What's your pick between the Pixel and Motorola phones? If budget is not a constraint. Main focus is compact, clean UI, lag-free experience, good camera. Okay, I'll talk about the things that. So in this price range, we have the Motorola 30 Ultra or something. It was a very good phone, very fluid or something. But compact, I would say the OnePlus 7 is more compact. Clean UI, both of them very, very clean UI, lag-free UI. Again, on both of them. In fact, the Motorola, because of that 144 hertz refresh rate, feels a little bit more fluid in UI, whereas the Pixel 7 is 90 hertz. But again, you'll get used to it, so not a big deal. Camera, definitely the Pixel is going to go ahead. And also, but in battery life, yes, because of the chipset used, the Motorola 30 Ultra will go ahead. But the problem with the Motorola is camera is pretty weak, I would say. The Pixel will definitely go ahead. And also updates is a big question mark. In fact, I took a question regarding that. That is from Utsav. He is asking, please address the issue of terrible updates from Motorola. Have been using the Moto Edge 30 Ultra for the last 6 months and stick on Android 12. Yes, I'm also very annoyed with Motorola that they haven't rolled out the Android 13 update on the Edge 30 Ultra, which is their flagship. In fact, Motorola other phones, which are their mid-range or the mid-premium phones, have got the Android 13 update. But for some reason, still, the Motorola Edge 30 Ultra hasn't got the Android 13 update. When I asked the Motorola team, they said, don't worry, the update is going to come out. But when I asked them when, they didn't give me an answer. And I'm annoyed. It's been so long. They should push out the update with the Motorola Edge 30 Ultra. It's high time. And I think so that's the reason they haven't even released the Edge 40 Ultra in India as of now. This high time Motorola, making good hardware and everything, but in updates, yes, I understand a delay of 2 months, 3 months, but now it's been high time. I hope Motorola comes out with at least a statement giving a timeline when this Motorola Edge 30 Ultra is going to get the Android 13 update. So I'm also a little bit annoyed with Motorola regarding this one. The delay is now going bonkers. This is by Jigar. He's asking, any thoughts on when Indian smartphone companies will actually manufacture, not assemble flagship level phones like Apple, nothing, or any new brand? Okay, Jigar, you need to understand, from the question what you are asking that all components, extra, everything should be manufactured in India. And I don't think so that will happen anytime soon, because if you notice, the main chips are not made in India. It's basically, if you're looking for flagship chipsets, that's basically made by TSMC, that's in Taiwan, and there are Samsung foundries also there, they make some chips. So for these chips to be manufactured in India, I don't think so anytime it's going to come out. The chip manufacturing process, in fact, TSMC is only in Taiwan, and now they're just planning to put up another plant in US. And that will also take a couple of years to put it. And those chip manufacturing plants are very, very, very expensive. Very expensive. So I doubt those will come to India. And it's not like every country has to manufacture every component by itself. The smartphone industry has thousands and thousands of components, radios, chips, this and that. So different countries make it and eventually they assemble it. So if you're looking at complete manufacturing taking place in India, that will not happen. But the assembly, what is happening is right now is happening, and a lot of important parts like some of the displays etc are now being manufactured in India. But the actual chips, that will take a long time, and I don't think so anytime it will happen. And in fact, I don't want it. The amount of pollution that these the water pollution that happens to make these chips is enormous, and we don't want that to happen in a country like India. So I hope that answers your question. We are assembling a lot of smartphones in India, and a lot of other components are now being manufactured in India. For example, LCD panels, some of the parts of the board and all those things are happening in India. But chip, yes, not yet. Okay, now moving to the next section. This is some AI related questions. This is by Milan. How do you see the future of AI in smartphone industry? Is Google working on AI integration in upcoming Android OS version? We won't see full integration in Android 14, but eventually this will happen. I don't know which version of Android it will happen, but that will happen. For example, they'll integrate AI like Bard or something in Google Assistant, and that we'll have that in our smartphone. The assistant will be AI powered. Eventually it will happen. We just don't know in which Android version. It won't happen in Android 14, the complete integration, but eventually this is going to happen. For example, if you notice with Windows 11, if you have the Bing, web browser, it now has that chat GTP integration in that. That we'll have something like that even on Android, on mobile phones, both on iOS as well as Google. But I don't think so it'll immediately happen in the next generation. It might take a time because these AIs are actually evolving right now. Okay, again, one more question. This is by Kashyap. What's your opinion on Bard AI, and will it be able to compete with ChatGPT? Again, these are upcoming. ChatGPT, as of now, if you look at it, ChatGPT 4 is way ahead compared to Bard. But again, I think so eventually Bard will also catch up, and it's going to be a cat and mouse game. And I'm happy that we have two different vendors. That's why we'll have competition in the market. So eventually, yes, both of them will. Right now, yes, Bard is a little bit behind compared to ChatGPT, but I think so eventually after a couple of years, maybe after 3-4 years, they'll come to parity. And again, we won't have just one AI for everything. We'll have multiple AIs doing. One AI might excel in certain group of tasks, another AI might excel in some other tasks. So multiple AIs will coexist. There won't be like just one AI that is doing everything. It's not going to be like that. And I'm happy that we have multiple. I don't want just one AI to dominate the world. There should be, again, it's like having just one smartphone manufacturer, then he will be a monopoly and he can do anything. So again, I'm happy that, and again, the ChatGPT is just one. We have for images different AI. So we'll have a lot of different AIs, and this space is very, very interesting. The amount of improvements that we saw in AI in the last 4 months is astounding. People thought that it will take 4 or 5 years for it to evolve this much and this become this better, but it has happened in the next 4 months. So next 2 years are going to be super, super interesting, and how this AI space evolves. But we'll have multiple AIs. Okay, now moving to miscellaneous other questions. This is a TV related question. This is from Sampath. He has asked a bunch of questions, so let me look at it. OLED TVs versus projector, which is the best visual experience according to you? If your viewing size is not that big, let's say 55 inches or a 65 inch or something that you want, then go with the OLED TV. The blacks will be inky blacks on that one. But again, if you look at OLED TVs above 65 inches, you can get even 75. They become prohibitively expensive. But projector is that big size. For example, in my home theater, I have a 120-inch screen. I can even go to 130-inch, 140. So if you want that big theater kind of immersive experience, huge screen experience, then you have to go with the projector. But again, you need to have a proper projector room for projectors, because projectors don't work that great if there is a lot of ambient light leaking. So again, we have both. I have OLED TVs. I also have a projector, as you can see. But again, after a certain size, I would say the traditional TVs becomes just very, very, very expensive, and maybe you simply won't have sizes if you want to go above 120 inches or something like that. So there projectors come. Also, what I like about the projectors is that I get almost zero eye strain when I'm watching content on projectors. With QLED TVs or OLED TVs or whatever, after 2 hours or something, my eyes get watery. That does not happen with projectors. So that's something that I started noticing. Second thing is AMOLED display problem in smartphone. Too many these. Yes, this is happening a lot and across all brands. I think so. During COVID, there was a huge batch of really bad AMOLED panels manufactured, and that is causing problems with almost every OEM. No manufacturer is going to come out and talking about it clearly. That's the sad part, and it is happening. Hopefully, I just hope that this issue is behind us, and in the newer generation of smartphones we don't have this problem. For example, if you notice, Motorola smartphones were not having generally a lot of the screen issues because they didn't use regular AMOLED panels. They went with third-party non-Samsung, I don't recall, but they use slightly different technology of AMOLED panels in there. But again, most of the other vendors, if you look at it, Samsung, you take it, OnePlus, you take it, Vivo, you take it, even Apple iPhones started having this issue. This is a widespread issue, and I think so this happened during a certain time period, and this was that AMOLED panels were actually produced. It's sad that nobody is talking and forthcoming about this and doing the replacement, because it's not happening across just one or two brands. This is happening across multiple brands. This is by Apur Agarwal. He's asking, seeing the wide range of Samsung products available in the market, what do you think about its ecosystem? Is it par on Apple yet? I won't say it's on par with Apple yet, but for example, this is my S23 Ultra, and I actually started testing. You can't see this if I bring the disconnect. This is the Samsung Galaxy Book 3 Pro 360, the latest one, and in fact, this is also a Samsung product, this has connected seamlessly to this one, and if I move my mouse here, now I can, I'll just click it. See, I'm not clicking the phone, and I'm just going to click it. I can access my phone, I can control the phone. For example, that way the integration is very well. Now if I click a photograph here from this phone, it automatically just pushes to the laptop, even video. So that way, yes, at least with Samsung smartphones, the integration is very, very tight. I didn't think that this will work this seamlessly, but it is doing. So again, yes, if you have a Samsung laptop and a Samsung, smartphone, yes, now they are working towards that ecosystem. So I was also surprised this worked actually this seamlessly. That's why I put on hold the review of the Samsung Galaxy laptop, because I was reviewing it traditionally, but I think so, including this part, the integration is very important. That's why the review will come out sometime next week. So okay, anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Nirmal. He's asking, does it make sense to buy a gaming console, or is it better to go with a gaming laptop which can do all the tasks? Okay, I'll give you my personal experience. And many of you will differ because it's a personal opinion. I would say on a long run, gaming consoles work out to be a lot cheaper. Earlier, I used to actually have a gaming desktop. But what I noticed is that because I had the gaming desktop, I was upgrading the components every year or something, maybe changing the graphic card or whatever. So in a given, let's say, a console cycle is about 4-5 years, I was upgrading so many things in my PC, and it was very, very expensive. For example, just changing the graphic card might cost you just about 50,000-60,000. Because after 2 years, 3 years, you get a new graphic card and you're compelled, okay, I want the latest graphics or something, so I'll upgrade. But if you buy a console, you can't do that. And the consoles cost what, 40,000-50,000, and you buy it once, and for the next 5-6 years, unless a new generation of console is released, the games that are there, they'll work pretty well because they're optimized. So these days, I haven't actually started building gaming PCs or invest a lot in gaming laptops. Gaming laptops, I have it. I use it for video editing. That's a different thing. But for my gaming, I realized that, and I have been a gamer for last 25 years. So this is not just a small experience of 1 or 2 years. From past 10 years, I have moved to gaming consoles. And that way, the overall cost that I was spending on gaming has reduced quite a bit. But that's my personal opinion. And I like gaming on a big screen with just a controller sitting easily on the couch, relaxing and doing the gaming. With a laptop or a computer, again, I have to come back to this desk and it looks like work to me. So that's my 2 cents about gaming consoles or making a PC or having a gaming laptop. But again, based on your personal preferences, it will change. But overall, I found that gaming on a console is a lot cheaper in the long run compared to having a dedicated gaming PC or a gaming laptop. This is about Vedant. Okay, AC related questions. Recommend a good AC around 40 to 45K for 140 square feet room. And if I decided to buy Panasonic, LG, Daikin AC, can I trust Panasonic for their after sales service? See, after sales service, at least in Hyderabad, is very good. And what I like with the Panasonic is that because most of their ACs are smart AC, so you have to install the app. And from the app, directly you can call the service and raise a service request or something. So that way it's very integrated. And at least in Hyderabad, we don't have issue with Panasonic service, so that should be the same case even with their biggest cities. I don't know about remote places or something like that, but overall I'm happy with the Panasonic service, and I like that you have this central app from where you can track the request. Let's say you can for everything, so it's a central app that you can you don't even have to call the call center and all these things. Anyways, okay, again, this is a security camera related question, so let's take it because I have installed a couple of them. This is why I've asked him. He's asking, can you share some good security cameras for home usage? I have been using the Realme CP Plus and Xiaomi, and everything lacks some or the other feature. Online cameras are worthless if you don't have a good internet. Yes, that's completely right. When you get this 2,000, 3,000 rupees cameras that online, it's okay if you just wanted one room or something, but if you want a centralized, security system, then you have to go to the traditional route of having, CCTV cameras. And in fact, in this setup, we have a CCTV camera. They are like, I'm basically, in my old house also we had it. There we had the CP Plus, and that actually also works very well. There we had a 16 port one. We used 12 cameras, but here I have put an 8 camera system. So these work in chunks of 8, 16 or something like that, 16, 24 or something. So we have 8 cameras set up on a CCTV, and it's actually pretty good. This is the Dhawa one. It's a new one. I think so. See, last 3 cameras, I can access it live, what is going on and everything we can see. So all these things are there, and remotely also it works. So that way, if you are paramount about security, serious security for your home or your office or let's say your factory or something, then going with the CCTV route is better. But again, that requires a lot more initial setup because they'll be pulling physical Ethernet wires. I went with the IP solution, the new one that has more functionality. So yeah, initial cost will be there, but again it's a lot more reliable. It will do automatic recording, and we have NVR. I have NVR sitting here beneath it. It does the recording automatically whenever any movement is there. You can just set it up. So that way I would say it's good. But I also have a couple of webcams also here that are online from Cubo I have taken, because as I've told you, I've utilized all 8 cameras, but I wanted just one more. So I have one more, this Cubo webcam also that I move from here and there wherever I need it. But again, most of for serious stuff, CCTV cameras. I had good luck with CP Plus. The current that I'm using in this setup is from Dhawa. For serious stuff, yeah, you need CCTV. Those webcams, if you have won't do the job for serious security stuff. Okay, now let's move to car related questions. Okay, this is by Mr. Singh. What do you think about the move to all screen and no buttons in some of the cars? In my humble opinion, they should keep buttons as they are easier to recognize and build muscle memory while driving. I completely agree with you, Mr. Singh. And that was the reason I didn't went for Audi and I went for BMW. When I was evaluating the cars, I like the one of the Audis, but when I looked at their internal system, everything was touch. Even to change the AC stuff, it was touch and all those things. And controls change based on what you are doing and everything. So I simply did not like, because it's when you're driving, if it's a totally touch screen, you have to look at it for a second or two, and that is very distracting and very dangerous. That's why I personally like cars that have physical buttons on them. In fact, I'm lucky that the Nexon EV that I recently produced, most of the important buttons are actually knob. For example, the AC has a physical knob and stuff like that. So I prefer having physical buttons and stuff to control stuff, because I've seen that touch systems and all this thing, and based on what you are doing, sometimes the menu change, so the location or everything change. So you have to look at it for 2 seconds, and that can be very, very distracting. So I hope this trend of all screens in the car, yes, have screen for stuff for giving information, but for controlling important aspects of the car, I feel still having physical controls is the way to go. I think that this is a stupid fad that is in the car industry as of now, just replacing all the physical buttons with just touch stuff. But I think so eventually after a couple of years, sense will come to the manufacturers. Once the accident rates increase because of that, they'll realize some of the important stuff need to have physical buttons. Anyways, now moving to some EV related questions. Abhilash, he's asking, may I know the true range of your EV with maximum load in all modes? Most of them provide the range based on a single person. Okay, I'll give you my experience. Many times I drive it singly, or my wife sits and my daughter. So maximum of 3 people are actually said. And I would say the Nexon EV Max, they say a rubbish of whatever 440 kilometers range or whatever. But I would say it gives a maximum range of about 300 kilometers, and this is with AC. If you stop using the AC, it might give about 330 kilometers. And I would say the range actually with load, I haven't noticed a huge difference. Maybe a range difference of 20 to 25 kilometers. That's the max I've noticed if you heavily loaded or if you're just driving it single. So not a big huge difference, but I would say the AC makes a huge difference. If I switch on the AC, I would easily say a range drop of 10% that you should get. And for my Nexon EV Max, I mostly use it with AC, and in real world situation usage, I would say I'm getting anywhere from 280 kilometers to about 300 kilometers of usage with AC. If I switch off the AC, maybe it will rise to 330 or 340 kilometers. Anyways, and that's the thing that I've noticed with most of the EV ranges in India. Whatever number they quote, that ARI rubbish, whatever they quote, easily remove 100 kilometers, easily remove 100 kilometers from that, because that ARI quotes what they give for mileage for EVs in India is utter rubbish. Anyways, moving to the next one. This is by Chris Tweets. Okay. Hey Ranjit, what's your take on the new MG Comet EV? Is it really a solution to urban mobility? 120 to 150 kilometers of real world range without fast charging capability. It's an interesting, very quirky design, I would say. And strictly it's a city car, because again, as you have told, the real world range that you expect is about 120 to 140 kilometers that you should expect on that one. And again, the big problem with that car is that simply does not support any fast charging. So in a pinch, if you want to quickly charge it, there is no option of fast charging this car, which is such a dumb thing. Okay, so I don't know why they did it. And it's a cute car, I would say. It's a small car, I would say ideally for 2 people. It's a 2-seater car. Yes, you can fit more people at the back if you really want, but it's essentially a 2-seater car in my frank opinion, and mostly for people who just drive in city and let's say your running is less than 100 kilometers a day, because you need some range, let's say 20-30 kilometers as a buffer in case of any emergency. But again, there's no fast charging on it. And what I do not like is that the pricing of that MG Comet EV, on road price, if you look at it on road, it will cost about anywhere from 8,30,000 to 8,40,000. And if you're going at that price range now, you might also get the Tiago EV, which is, I feel, a lot more practical car. Yes, it'll be a little bit more expensive, I think so, Tiago EV, about a lakh or lakh and a half. But if a person is spending that much, he might want a proper hatchback that has features of fast charging and other stuff compared to the MG Comet EV. The MG Comet EV looks very cute and quirky, but I don't know how much that will sell practically in India. That's the biggest question. Anyways, this will be the last question. I'll take it again, an EV question. I'm planning to buy a new EV car. Is it okay to buy a non-EV now, considering everyone is trying to reach zero emission goals? I thought about EVs, but one of the problems I have is I live in a society where there is open parking space bit away from my building. Any suggestion? I would suggest that if you're buying an EV and if you're staying in a building, make sure you have proper, charging facilities in your building. If you don't have it, I will not recommend you the EV, because it's a pain. If you think that you will just buy an EV and charge it on a fast charger always, that is simply not practical. I have an EV and I'm loving the experience of it. I have the Nexon EV Max, but again, I don't have to worry. In this house, I have a charging solution here, so I can charge it anytime I want. Even in fact, in my building where I stay, I haven't shifted here. We have shared charging facility. So again, in our building now we have 18 EVs. Just about 4 months ago we just had 4, but then they have put 3 EV charging points, and it's a shared charging point. So we can actually charge our EVs in the building itself. But if you don't have that kind of a solution in your society or something, then I would not recommend you buying a EV car, because charging a EV car with the regular slow charger, and in buildings or whatever shared buildings, you can only use your slow charger, that is the 3.2 kilowatt. These EVs take anywhere from 8 to 12 hours to charge. So again, make sure you have that space in your building. Otherwise, that can be a problem if you don't have a proper charging point. Because if you get the EV also, and if your daily run is 30-40 kilometers also, every fourth or fifth day, you might have to charge it. And you need that convenience of having that charging in your building or your location. That's my frank opinion. Anyways, guys, that was the last question of this one. I hope you found this tech Q&A session interesting. And guys, if you're still not subscribed to this YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. A lot of interesting stuff coming up soon. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.